Welcome to the road to 1 million US dollars, and let's get right into the Bitcoin chart for today. In this video, we're going to dive deep into this immediate short term for Bitcoin, and then later on in this video, I will also look at higher and higher time frames. First of all, since yesterday, we actually invalidated this triangle pattern because we got candle closes below the point of the breakout at 115.3k. So right here, this was already invalidated, and then from there, we got another warning signal by actually breaking down below. Personally, I took a short from 113.7k, roughly speaking, all the way down to 111.6k, and this is that trade right there. So here you can see this 50x short position that I took to the downside as we were trading down below this descending trend line. But after that, we actually broke this descending trend line with an RT1M pattern. And in the case that you don't know, guys, an RT1M pattern is when we break the descending trend line in combination with breaking the downtrend in the RSI momentum indicator. Now, whenever we see this play out, we typically expect a move all the way up into overbought territory for Bitcoin in this RSI. So when the RSI is above 70 on the 1 hour time frame, the way the RSI moves into overbought is obviously by just getting more and more bullish price action. But the reason I wanted to do a bit of a deep dive here is because there are some signals that we need to keep an eye on. Like, for example, right now we are touching this Fibonacci golden pocket sitting between 113.5k and 113.7k. After we break this area of resistance, guys, likely we are getting some kind of continuation to the upside after that point as well. Keep an eye on a descending trend line like this. Like currently this would be sitting at around 114k. But after that, guys, the next area of resistance is already sitting at around 116,000. So those are some areas of resistance to pay attention to on this 1 hour time frame. Of course, if we start to reject from that golden pocket or some area of resistance here, then be on the lookout for another short-term reversal. Take a look at the market structure as well here. Like, are we getting some kind of lower high, or is it actually a higher high at that point? Obviously, I cannot update you guys 24/7 on the Bitcoin price. Once every 24 hours is already more than enough work as it is. Either way, so now let's move on to this 4 hour time frame for Bitcoin, because we are potentially getting a very bullish pattern here in the form of this double bottom pattern. Now, this isn't like a textbook perfect double bottom, but of course, guys, we are not going to get textbook perfect patterns here every single time. So this is close enough as a double bottom pattern. Therefore, if we are breaking above this area of resistance, it will set up a new price target for us all the way up to 120.6k. Therefore, be on the lookout of some kind of continuation to the upside once we do end up breaking that 115.7k level. Now, right now, this pattern obviously hasn't broken out yet, and therefore we are not actively targeting this level here. So please do not get confused about that. More important is to just pay attention to this lower time frame that we have right here. Now, taking a look at this 1 day time frame, because we saw a big rejection from this area of resistance here on the 1 day time frame, sitting from 115 all the way up to 117,000. However, we have already found some support in this big area below from 112 all the way down to 110k. In terms of support to the downside, that is sitting from 107 all the way down to 105k. And overall, even with us trading around the lows here over and over again, so long as we are not breaking down below about 108k in the Bitcoin price, I am still just bullish on Bitcoin here. I don't see a huge reason to be extremely bearish on Bitcoin right now. I would first need to see some kind of confirmation of us breaking down below these previous lows before I will start talking about possible downside scenarios. So therefore, my bias on these higher time frames is leaning more bullish at the moment, so long as we do not invalidate this bullish structure that we currently have, for example, on this 3-day time frame, but also simply on the 1 day time frame right here. Next, taking a look at the Bitcoin ETF flow tables, because yesterday we saw an outflow of about $320 million. Now, this is the first time we see a big outflow in quite some time. Right now, this is not any trend or anything like that, so not much has really changed with this new data point coming in. Therefore, I'm just going to check back in with this in tomorrow's video. Lastly, taking a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map. First of all, on this 3-day time frame. Right now, we are in a short-term ascending trend. Therefore, we should be looking towards this upside liquidity. For example, there's some liquidity around 113.6, even 114.9, and all the way up to 116.4K in the short term. Now, in the case that we start breaking this ascending trend line here, then we start looking towards the short-term downside liquidity, and that is sitting at 111.5K. And there is even liquidity to the downside at 110.7K, as well as around that 110K level in general. Now, same thing as I said yesterday, guys, and I've been saying over and over again, we already took out a lot of this long-term liquidity at around 107K, and we are still in a technical uptrend on the 1-day time frame. Therefore, it is more likely that we are going to take out this liquidity at 126K first before we do anything else. Now, the thing that would actually change my mind about this is if we actually get new lows in the Bitcoin price below 107K. So once again, on this 2-day time frame, if we start breaking down below this 107K level, that would change my mind, because then we are breaking this technical uptrend of higher highs and higher lows. So from that point onward, we would start looking at some possible downside scenarios once again. For example, 97K and 93K would be on the table at that point. But right now, there is no reason to be looking towards this downside liquidity and to be talking about possible bear markets already having started. In fact, I made a post about this earlier today where I said Bitcoin is at 111K after the tariff flash crash. We're down about 3% today, and suddenly every so-called influencer is screaming the bear market has started. And this is the same playbook as always, because they make money from your fear. Tomorrow, if we get one green candle, they will say Bitcoin to 150K. Of course, there's a chance that top is already in, but there are no signals actually confirming a bear market yet. So stay level-headed, guys, and there is no reason to be extremely emotional when we get a bullish candle or a bearish candle. In the end, the only thing that matters is the objective technical analysis, right? Or at least that is the way it should be, in my personal opinion. Now, this has been today's market update. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel with notifications on so you do not miss any of these important update videos. But regardless, if you do end up subscribing or not, thank you for watching once again, and I will see you tomorrow in the next one.